everyone. Good afternoon. Am I audible to you?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Akhil. Yeah. So, hi everyone. So, this is Jayashruti here, and I will be your technical instructor for this 10 days bootcamp. Okay. So, before starting, I just wanted to know, all your background. Is there anyone who's into full stack web development? You know the basics, or you know some coding or something, right? Just tell me your background in the chat so that it will be easy for me to understand your background and proceed with the session. So everyone is into programming, you know what is programming, or you are entirely new to this field? You can just post it in the chat. So I see Abhishek says that he's a web designer, great. Development knowledge, UI developer, great. Great. So a mix of people here, right? That's great. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, a new. All right. So it's a mix of both, right? So you are into few people are into web designing, or even few people are as UI developer, and few are as of freshers, right? So little bit knowledge about web development, basics of JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. That's great. All right, guys. So it's all fine. So it's good to know all of you. Right, so let me just share my screen and just discuss what is the agenda all about, right? So all right, guys. So even though you are very new to this, right? So new to coding, or you know some basics already, you are into React, or you're into HTML, CSS, JavaScript already. Okay, so this is a 10-day boot camp, which is going to cover all the basics as a whole, right? So we are going to start from scratch, right from your HTML, and also move forward and proceed further up to your MongoDB. Okay, and developing your backend. Okay, so this is going to be a basic good bootcamp for that. So we'll just give you an idea like what is the MERN stack development, what are the technologies, and some basics about it, right? So that is going to be for the next 10 days. For 10 hours, okay, for 10 hours. So you will be also building small projects out of this 10 days, right? So I hope this month stack, from Coding Chakra, we are also offering you your 90 to 100 hours session, which is going to cover the entire curriculum, right from your front end up to your back end. So it's totally a 90 to 100 hours course, a full-fledged course, a live instructor-led course, and this is a part of that course. Okay, so this is a 10-hour bootcamp for the same. So you'll try to cover all the basics which is required to make you understand what are these technologies for and work on with these technologies. Okay, to start up with, so you know that we are going to learn about the MERN, right? So I hope you would have known what is the acronym, what is this acronym is all about. So M is for MongoDB. Okay, E is for Express, R is for React, and N is for Node. Right? So these are the technologies which a MERN stack is consisted of, right? So there are many stacks for the full stack, like it can be a Python full stack, it can be Java full stack, .NET. Abhishek is asking, we'll learn basics only or advanced? Abhishek, the 10 hours bootcamp is for the basics to make everyone understand what is all about MERN. Okay. And the 90 to 100 hour session, we'll be sharing you the curriculum. So that will be covering the entire curriculum. Okay. So this is a 10-hour bootcamp for understanding what are these technologies and getting started with MERN stack web development. Right. So I hope it's clear, everyone. Yeah. Yes, guys. So let's get started with this. So for learning all these things, like, so I hope few of you would have already done a research on this, right? So you'd have probably come across like this MongoDB, Express, React, and Node, right? So any idea of what is this MERN stack? So what are the other stacks you have come across? Because before knowing why to learn MERN, okay, we should understand what are the other stacks which are available and what is the benefit of learning MERN stack over the other stacks, right? So any idea of that? What research you have done? You can post it in the chat or you can unmute yourselves and speak. Anything is fine. Vikash, what is stack? See, basically we are going to create a web application. Okay, so let me tell what is a web application first. Okay, those who are very new, I also see people are from a different background, like from banking or from the commerce side, right? So first, let us understand what is this website, right? So it's all about creating your websites, right? So probably like what are the most used websites? Like you will be using Amazon or you will be using Flipkart, right? So Zomato, Swiggy, or any web application. Okay, I'm talking about a web application. Now tell me, what is a web application? What is a mobile application? What is a desktop application? What is the difference? What is the basic difference? React Django, PostgreSQL. Yes. Yes, Lahiri. That's good. So let us say, okay, just a moment, guys. Yes, guys. So sorry for that interruption. Yeah. So let us say like you're using an Amazon web application, right? So let us say you are visiting an Amazon.in or a Flipkart application. Okay. Now, like what is basically a web application is it's hosted in the web, right? So it's hosted in some server. Okay, and you access it through your browser, right? So when I say I'm viewing an Amazon website, I view it on the browser. But if you have a mobile application, for the same, you access it through your mobile app. So there is a clear distinction of what is a web application, what is mobile application. Okay. So what we talk about full stack is all about creating your web applications. Okay. So as a whole, okay, it is consisted of everything. Okay. Right from what you are seeing on the output and what is processed at the behind. Okay. So that is what we call it as full stack as together. Okay, so first let us understand what is this full stack web development, okay, and what is all about. And guys, there is a message from the team. So if you have any clarifications, any doubts, or you want to ask anything, you can just unmute yourself and ask your doubts. Please don't hesitate to ask your doubts or any queries if you have. Right? So I hope it's clear. So now let us go back. And see what is this full stack development all about. So I see people are joining. Let me allow them. Yeah. So what is this web application is? Web application is nothing but it's a website. Okay. We technically we people tell it as a website, right? So website, what are the things you see in a website, guys? In general, tell me like what are the features you're using? What is you're actually doing with the website? So can you please list down few things like features or some functionalities which you're using? Very good. Mahesh, images, text. Good. So let us see an Amazon website, right? So if I see an Amazon website, right? So these are the like a text or image, and some you see some animations like these sliding effects. Okay, you have some buttons. Okay, you have some drop down options. You have a search bar. All these things are nothing but it's a content which is displayed on your website, right? So basically, why people started using websites? Can someone tell me like why people started using website? Maybe it is like let us say it was started in 1980s, okay, in the early 1980s or 1990s. But why is that they started using websites? So what is the basic ideology behind creating a website? Branding's very good. So I have seen, I think Shantakumar, he has said brandings. Kiran, exactly, to reach everyone. And Akhil, we see the front end part. Okay, let us not stick very technical. Okay, let us first understand what is the need. Okay, why we are developing a website. So obviously, like in the earlier days, you had these pamphlets, like brochures, which is flyers, which is provided at your home, at your doorsteps. But nowadays, are you finding these things? Hardly you find it, right? Let us say there is a gym which is giving you an offer, right? Now, are you getting pamphlets? Most of the times, I think it is reduced nowadays, right? Using pamphlets, using a hard copy to advertise your product or advertise your service is reduced nowadays, right? So exactly, Nikita, you're right. For marketing and advertising your products or your services, they basically create a website, right? So you take any website, you take Amazon, it's a e-commerce, like it's an online store. Okay, if it is some other thing, like it is a news application, even newspapers have become online, you can read the news through websites, right? So basically, putting your information, okay, for sharing your information to promote your products and your services, okay, people have digitalized and they have moved towards creating websites. Okay, that is where websites became conceptual, right? So now a website is going to have the information, whatever you want to convey to your target participants, right? So let us say I have a target audience. I want to promote my business or service. So I should propagate it, right? So I should share it across different people. Now everyone is using systems. Everyone is using mobile phones, right? Everyone is having internet. So anyone who has internet can view a website, right? So that is why it has become popular. Okay, web development has become popular, especially, right? So this is the like why we have to create a web application. Okay, now what are the components you're going to have in these web applications is, so basically, like your friends have said that you have some front end, right? You have some images, you have some text. Okay, you have all the other functionalities which is put up in this website. Okay, so we technically call it as a front end. Okay, technically it is called as a front end. So front end is going to contain, okay, the information which is to be shown to the end user. Okay, so what I say as an end user is anyone who is going to use your service or buy your service, or who is going to visualize your service. Okay, that's it. Okay, so that is what a front end is going to do, right? It's going to put your service to the end user. Okay, now let us see like what are the different stacks, okay, which are available for the front end development. Okay, so in the MERN, you might obviously have known that we are going to work with React.js. Okay, so React.js is going to come under the front end technology. Okay, and similarly, you have other front end technologies like Angular, you have Vue. Okay, you can use even a simple JavaScript. Everything can be used for creating a front end, but all these things are frameworks. Okay, like whatever I'm telling you now, Angular, React, or Vue, everything is a framework which is written in JavaScript. Okay, all these things are frameworks. Okay, there is an inbuilt code. They have created that framework. You can reuse that framework and start creating your application. Okay, so that is what frameworks means. That is why we are going to learn React. But if you want to learn all these frameworks, like you want to learn React or Angular or any framework, you have to learn some prerequisites. Basically, for any application, you need two things. Okay, so I see most of you have answered right. Really great in the chat. One is your HTML and the other one is your CSS. right? So this is how you create your content, right? So when I say I'm creating the content, right? So you told about your images, you told about your text, like what do you say, a search bar or any option which you find in the application, what the user is seeing. For creating it and for designing it, you're going to use HTML and CSS. Okay, and together, okay, with that, you also need to learn some scripting language or a programming language. Okay, so now, like you're telling JavaScript, right? So JavaScript is also important. For Merge, JavaScript is very important, right? So what is the scripting does is, scripting is going to make your web application work and talk with you. Okay, so when I say it's talking with you, I mean to say, let us say, for example, you have a sign up form. Okay, let us say you're into a sign up form in this website. Okay, I'm just clicking on new user, so you'll get a sign up form. So you see some like this is what we call it as forms, right? So it will be looking more like your Google Forms, right? So if you can tell me, like those who know, if you can just tell me what are the technologies, like what are the things we have to use for creating this form, simply creating this form. So what are the contents you're seeing here, guys? It's asking for your name. Okay, it's asking for your mobile number and some input. And also it's showing you some links as well, right? So all these things are nothing but your contents, right? So these are your contents which is displayed on your website. Great, I see buttons, input type. Okay, you set the HTML tag itself. That's really great to know. PHP is backend. Okay, Prakar, yeah, PHP is also used with backend, but in MERN, we are going to use something different. Constraints, STS pages, very good, guys. Like I think you people are also into other stacks, right? The backend, you also pretty good know the other technologies. That is very good to know, right? So just see, guys, like in layman terms, what I can say is whatever content I see on my website, right? It's just nothing but some text boxes. I have some buttons. I also have some text content. Also, I have some links, right? Now with this, what I'm going to do is, if you click on a link, it will take you to some page. Okay, that's completely fine. If I'm clicking on this link, it's taking me to some other web application. Okay, so some other web page, right? That's completely fine. Now, when I'm giving some username here, or when I'm giving, let us say I'm giving a username here. Okay, I'm giving some mobile number. Okay, and I'm giving a password. Okay, so let us say I'm giving a password, and I'm re-entering the password again. I give verify email. Okay, I just click on a button. So can you see some thing is displayed on your page now, on your web page now? It's validation. Okay, so what basically is, just remember these three things, guys. Okay, so your HTML, we have to see what a HTML can do. Okay, what a CSS can do, and what the other things are going to do. Okay, in case if you are going to have JavaScript, right? So when I say HTML, HTML is just the structure of your web application. Okay, it will just create your content. Okay, just creating your content. Okay, if I say I'm creating this link, it will just create that. Okay, but if I just create it just like that, if I write a HTML code, you'll understand. We'll see the hands-on at that time, you'll get it. When you write like that, it's just displayed on the web browser as you're creating. Okay, but what won't be done is, it is not going to create any style. Okay, so style I mean to say is, you have some font size here, right? So you can see this is of different font size. This is of different font size. And whatever validation message you're getting, it's in a different color, right? So this link is in a different color. All these things are related to your style. Okay, it's creating the look and feel of your application. This cannot be done by your HTML. Okay, so HTML only it's going to structure your document. Okay, structure your web application. It's not going to style anything. Okay, it's not going to create the look and feel of your application. Okay, so for creating that look and feel, I cannot create it just like that. Okay, I can show you the HTML, you'll understand then. Okay, but when you create it with HTML, it will really look horrible. Okay, it's not going to have any style. It will be having only the default behavior. It will be just shown as it is, whatever content you're creating. Here you have everything in the center aligned. You have some colors, you have some different things playing here, which is making the website look pretty good. Okay, but for making your website pretty good, for making your style work, for aligning your contents, your CSS is going to work fine. Okay, so with CSS, you're going to play with your style. Okay, how you're going to design your website and the other things. Okay, but with HTML, it will just create your content. Okay, if I can compare this with a Word document, okay, like mostly everyone would have worked with this Word document, right? So what a Word document is used for? Again, it's used for creating your information, right? Now, let us say I'm creating some heading. Okay, I'm creating, let us say I'm going to create coding chakra, right? So now this is the heading, right? This is what the content I have given. Maybe you can create some content here. Maybe I can list what are the courses I'm going to discuss. So if I put HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, React, and say Express, right? Now this is the content which I'm creating. But is there any style applied to this? Like, is there anything with alignment, or is there any colors which is playing here in this content? It's not, right? So it's just the data what you have created. You have just structured your document. You have just told what content I'm going to create with this document. But still we have to work more on this because the font size is very small. You have to align it properly. For heading, you should differentiate, right? So heading should stand out different from the other content. You have to play more with the style. So for playing more with these styles, you have many properties with your word, right? So what are the properties? Like, let us say I want to change the font style. Okay, I don't want Calibri, I want Times New Roman. And I also want the font size to be pretty bigger than the existing one. I want to align it to the center. So all these options are available within the word itself. Am I right? Yes. So all the options are available here. So if I want to change this heading, so what I can do, I can make it bold. You can increase the font size. You can also give a different color, right? And if you want to change this font size, you can select this. You can change the font size. You can align it to center or whatever alignment you want. You can just play with that, right? This will be done by your CSS. Okay, whatever I'm talking with respect to your colors, your alignment, everything is with respect to your CSS. Okay, whatever content you initially create, that will be created using your HTML. Okay, I hope it's clear, right? So the difference between HTML and CSS is clear. Yes. Yeah. So this is all about it. Okay, so you're just going to create the content and style it. Okay, so that will be taken care by your HTML and CSS. Okay, now coming back, the next thing is your JavaScript, right? So when we talk about JavaScript, right? So here, this is the page you have. This is the content we have created, right? Now, when I clicked on that button, okay, what is the meaning when I'm clicking that button? It means that I'm submitting some data to that website. Okay, I'm performing some action to my website. It's an action. Button clicking is an action. Clicking on your link is an action. Or you're creating your data is an action, right? So you're performing an action. Once I trigger that action, it's giving me a response back. Okay, it's intelligent enough and it is able to say that whether it's a valid email or not. So can a normal program do that? Like normal HTML and CSS can do that? It can't. Okay, so it cannot write validations. It cannot check your data. It can simply, I can say that it cannot write any logic. Okay, so HTML and CSS is just with your designing. Okay, it stops there. Okay, it just stops with the designing part. Now, what JavaScript is going to do is JavaScript is going to take the input from the user, that is the end user, and it is going to process it and give you back a result. Okay, now if I want to do that, simply we cannot do with HTML and CSS. It should be more intelligent. You have to write a program for that, right? You have to write a logic for that, which is going to process your data and give certain output. So that will be taken care by JavaScript. Not only that, it has more capabilities. We will discuss that when we go for the JavaScript session. Okay, but simply for now, whatever input we are going to give to the website, someone needs to process it and give us back a result. So that is going to be taken care by JavaScript in general. Okay, so I got a question in the chat. For this, can we use jQuery too? Yes, you can also use jQuery, Uday, but jQuery is now updated. Okay, like people are moving more towards JavaScript. Even with Bootstrap, they have replaced jQuery with JavaScript. So it is better if like the recent trends, they go for JavaScript. Okay, but you can also use jQuery for the same, right? You can. Okay, but most of the frameworks, they are replacing jQuery with JavaScript nowadays, right? And also React uses JavaScript and even Bootstrap uses JavaScript. So we are going to discuss more on the JavaScript part. Yeah. So now coming back, why I was telling you these three things is, okay, this is what basically all the website contains. Okay, not the JavaScript. HTML, CSS, whatever stack you go for. I told you, right? I was talking about stack. Let me come back to that point, right? Now, when we talk about stacks, okay, that is full stacks, right? So like all the websites without HTML and CSS, you cannot create anything, okay? Because you have to create the content, right? You have to style it. So that will be taken care by your HTML, CSS. But how you process your logic, how you write your program is what it differs with the other stacks. Okay, Shubham, yes, we will be discussing about backend, Shubham. I'll come to that point. Okay, I'm just giving a roadmap from the full stack. So let us understand what is a full stack, what are the different stacks available. Okay, so when we talk about stacks, I told you about like why we have to write a program, right? Because simply I cannot have a website like this. No one will use your website. If it is a portfolio, then it is fine, right? So if it is an online portfolio, you have a resume online. Okay, even then you can create a response form. They can give a request to you. You will receive that. Okay, that also involves some processing, right? Right now, let us see what are the different stacks which are available, right? So when I say full stack, okay, the programming will be changing, okay, but the functionality for creating a website is the same. Okay, the basic aim is creating a website, but there are different languages, different scripting languages which are available as an option. Okay, so one option is a JavaScript. Okay, so in JavaScript, you have different frameworks. Okay, like that is your React, Angular, and Vue. Okay, for example, I'm telling there are many other JavaScript frameworks which are which are there, but mostly used ones is React.js and Angular. And even now, like people are shifting from Angular to React. I'll tell you why. Okay, I also got some doubt. What is the difference between mean and MERN? So mean focuses the front end will be your Angular. Okay, but in React, the front end, you're going to use React.js for creating the front end. I'll tell you what is the advantage of using React over Angular. Okay, first let me just introduce with all the other stacks and let me tell why MERN is better. Okay, I cannot say it is the best in market, but again, it depends on the market, right? So there is a demand and supply. So according to that, I'll just compare and show you why it is good to start your career as a MERN stack developer. Okay, so that is what we'll discuss now, right? So for JavaScript, these are the frameworks which are available, guys. Okay. And one another thing, what is the advantage of learning JavaScript is, if you know JavaScript, you can write both your front-end code and back-end code. Okay, because you know, obviously in the back-end, you have Node Express, right? So Node Express is also, Node is also a JavaScript framework only. Okay, it's a JavaScript library. Okay, it's just purely built in JavaScript. So if you know JavaScript, you can easily learn React as well as the backend part. So it's better option to go for JavaScript frameworks because of this advantage. Okay, for both front end and back end. Now coming on to the other stacks, you also have Java full stack. So any idea of what is Java full stack, guys? Like anyone who has worked with it, or you have some idea about what is Java full stack? Spring Boot in Java, exactly, right? So you have Spring Boot, the microservices, Hibernate. Okay, all these things will be your Java full stack development, right? So, but what all these things that like your Java or .NET frameworks are, it is MVC architecture. Okay, people who know it already, you can just you can put together and you can understand. So in MVC, what happens is like you have your model view controller. When you're integrating with your backend, right, you have to write a driver code separately for that. And writing a code with MVC, I think it's a bit difficult. Okay, once you learn a non-MVC architecture like React or Angular, you will know the difference. I'm telling this for people who are already working in it. Okay, as a beginner, if you want to learn full stack, JavaScript will be easy because the integration with your backend, okay, with your databases, you don't need to write any driver codes like you would have done JDBC, ODBC connection and all, right? So you have a driver code and it is complex to write your driver codes and all if it is a complex database and data organization, right? So it's better, like I feel it's better. Okay, I feel it's better not using an MVC architecture. Your database integration, everything comes along with this ODM. Okay, in your JavaScript, it comes with your ODM. And it is like you don't need to write any queries, any sort of queries for working with your backend. Okay, so I think you can go for JavaScript in that case. If you feel like writing your driver codes, you're sick, like you don't want to write many driver codes, you don't want to work with SQL databases. Okay, we are not going to discuss about Java full stack, guys. Okay, I'm just telling you these are the things which are available. But in the market, even if you can see, you can go to LinkedIn and search, right? You can search for the openings which are there for React, okay, for your Express node. It will be higher compared to these things. Okay, because like people are now migrating towards these stacks because creating and maintaining and also for deployment, it is easier for if you're going for a JavaScript full stack. Okay, so basically we are going to discuss only the JavaScript. Okay, you also have Python full stack, .NET full stack. Okay, Python, it's a new thing. Okay, it's a budding thing. Not like many clients have moved to Python now. So mostly in this 7 years, people have started migrating towards React now. So I can say that for at least 5 to 7 years, right? You're going to have this like the demand for React.js and Express and Node at least for 5 to 7 years. Okay, maybe after that, you're going to like maybe Python will get popular. Okay, so it's better to start with Mern as of now. Okay, according to this current trend, right? So it's all about your JavaScript full stack, guys. Is it clear? Ma'am, what about Go language? So Go is like a very new thing to like what do you say? It's there already, but nowadays it's gaining popularity because people now they want to replace C and C++. Okay, so for that as a programming language, they are going for a Golang. Okay, so it basically you can also create any type of applications. Okay, like your not like your web applications. If you want to create a desktop application and the other things. Okay, so we are focusing on the web application. Okay, I'm talking with respect to the web application because the applications are different, right? Whatever I write it for my like Android application is different, a web application is different, right? So if we go for Android, you have Kotlin, like previously it was Android, now it is Kotlin and so on, right? So it's all about web development. Okay, so it's the best option to start your career as a MERN stack developer if you're a fresher, or even if you're working as a UI designer or a website designer, it's better to start with JavaScript now. Okay, with the JavaScript frameworks now, right? So I hope you got some idea of what are the other technologies which are available. Okay, it's purely demand and supply, guys. Okay, and also it has other advantages. You will understand that when we go into the module. Now, if I tell you, you might get confused. Okay, so let us not get into the technical side. Okay, we'll discuss that gradually when we discuss about those modules. Right now, this is what we are going to discuss. Okay, like React.js. Now, someone asked what is the difference between mean and MERN. So simply mean is for Angular, R is for React, but that is not sufficient, right? So anyone who has already worked with Angular, I just wanted to know. Because like we can have an interaction, what is available in React. We can get to know like why React.js is gaining the popularity over Angular. So anyone who's worked with Angular? I'm getting no's. I'm just expecting for one yes so that we can interact. No. Okay, that's completely fine, guys. So see what is the difference between your mean and MERN. So I'll just put I generally will not use any presentation, but still for making you understand, I have few points for you. Okay, so this is the basic difference between a React.js framework and an AngularJS, guys. Okay, so please understand React and Angular both are for front end. Okay, it's not going to deal with how you're creating your backend. That is with creating your routes and how do you interact with your database. Okay, we didn't go to that backend part yet. We are still on the front end. First, let us understand this, right? Now, when it comes to React.js, like I hope you all know, React is like React was first used by Facebook. They are the ones who created it. Okay, they created this framework. I think it was open sourced in the year 2011. Okay, I'm not sure with the year. Okay, before that it was a legacy product of Facebook only. And by 2011, it became an open source product which is available in the market. Okay, and it is also easier to use React. Okay, I'll give you a very simple application. I think you can relate this with the real-time thing. Okay, when you're using Instagram or Facebook, let us say you are having your feed. Okay, let us say you're having your feed in initial days. Okay, like who's using Facebook from the beginning? From the beginning, like I'm telling, like the very first, like when Facebook was very popular, from that time and now. So can you see what is a gradual difference with the application, like in terms of usability or in terms of performance, in the older versions, let us say you have a post, someone is posting a status. Okay, let us assume someone is posting a status. Okay, whenever like you are refreshing your screen only, that post will be updated to your feed. Am I right? Whenever you click on the refresh button or whenever you close your application and open your application, then only that post will be updated to your feed, to your account. Am I right? Yes. But nowadays you take Instagram or any other application, at once when someone is posting, irrespective of whether you load your application or not, okay, the post, the feeds will be updated to your screen automatically. And the other things are remaining unaffected. Okay, let me say, for example, you have this Facebook application. Okay, like you have many modules here, right? So you have some, like in the top, you'll have the Facebook logo, some other components will be there. On the left-hand side, you'll be having some settings, your profile information, all the other things. And right-hand side, you have some information like your chat and all. Okay, what is the changing part of this application? Is there anything on the left navbar and the right navbar? Is it often changing or is it remaining the constant throughout when you're using the application? Unless and until you're clicking, it's going to remain still. Okay, it's just going to remain the same. There is no much difference. You're going to get it from there, but your feed, that is this container, whatever you get your news feeds, it's obviously it's often updated. Am I right? Yes. Now, what is the advantage of using React? This is the advantage. Okay. Now, when something is updating, okay, when I say an application overall, when I say a web application overall, all the components are there. Okay, let us say this is one component. Okay, component means whatever user interface you are seeing. Okay, this is one component. This is one component. Let us say this is one component. I have three. This is fourth component. Okay, the most changing component here is my place where my news feeds is getting displayed. The other things are not changing. But when you take Angular or anything, okay, in anything in general, your Java language or anything, whatever gets updated to your screen, okay, it will be represented as a DOM tree. Okay, we call it as document object model. Okay, so when I say I'm creating my HTML, I'll tell you what is DOM, how it works. Now you can assume like it is a program which is running on your browser, which can understand your HTML, which can work with your JavaScript and show you the output. Okay, with that only browser is able to show your website. Without a DOM, you won't get anything to your web browser. You won't get any content. Even if you're writing a HTML code, you're writing a website. If you're not having a DOM on your website, sorry, on your web browser, it's not going to show anything to the output. Okay, now why React stands different is React always is going to update your DOM with the contents which is changing only. Okay, within the part, okay, which part of your application is changing, only that part will be affected. and the remaining parts is not going to be affected. It's not going to load all the contents again. Okay, when I say this part is alone changing, that is my fourth component is alone changing. Is there any changes in the other components like 1, 2, and 3? It's not changing. But when you use other frameworks like Angular or any other frameworks, what happens is, irrespective of whether a change has occurred in those components or not, it is going to reload all the contents once again. Okay, it's going to load everything. Even though that is not changed, you will not see that to the output. Okay, you will see it's still there, but the application in the behind, it's not going to it's going to reload all the contents again. That is 1, 3, and 2 will also be reloaded along with 4. Because 4 has changed, it is reloading all the other contents from the beginning. So that is the drawback, the major drawback of the other frameworks. Okay, now why React is popular is it's using a concept called as virtual DOM, wherein the other components you will not refresh it in your DOM. Okay, only your virtual DOM will be, there is a concept called as virtual DOM, okay, which will take care. Whatever component is updating, it will update that component alone. The other things remains unaffected. Okay, whatever is already loaded to DOM, it is not going to disturb that. It is going to find which node is which node has changed, which component has changed, and it is going to update that alone. Okay, so that is how you're going to work with your React, and that is the greatest advantage of your React.js. Okay. And okay, so I have some doubt in the chat. We can also achieve it using Ajax. Uday, I just wanted to know, like in Ajax, just tell me how the DOM works. Is it going to update only that node, or is it going to update all the nodes in the in your browser? The architecture I'm asking about. It also does the same. Okay, like Ajax is also going to do the same, but Ajax is not a framework. Okay, if you're writing with Ajax, okay, if you want to update the DOM, you can write it with one part. Suppose if you want to create the component, again, you have to stick on with the JavaScript DOM methods and for creating it. Okay, what is a basic difference? Ajax does the same. Okay, I agree to your point. Ajax also does not change the entire web document. It just changes whichever node is changing. But it's not a framework. Okay, framework has capabilities more than that. Okay, I'm just telling what is the advantage over Angular, okay, or other frameworks in general. Okay, it is like I can say React is going to do whatever HTML, CSS does along with Ajax and lot more. Okay, it also has other functionalities where you can create your single page applications. You can create your components. You can build your reusable components. It has a lot more advantages. I don't know much, but we can load partial page. Yes, Uday, you can do that. Okay, but that feature is achieved in React also. Together, it also has other features. Like if you want to create reusable components, okay, we'll call it as component. I'll show you when we go for React. So if you want to create some reusable components like if you want to create like a root establishment, that is you want to link your front end and back end, you have many packages together, it's a framework. Okay, Ajax is not a framework. Okay, but it can do that. But for creating the components, you have to use DOM methods again. For updating, it will be a very different process, but it will be easier in these frameworks. Okay, so that is one comparison with React and Angular, guys. Okay, so it will be with the normal regular DOM. Whatever updates you're going to have, right? It's going to update your entire document. Even one part of my application changes. Let us say in this Amazon website. Okay, and let me go to amazon.in. Let us say I'm clicking on some link. Okay, it's not actual example, guys. Just try to relate it. Okay, now did you see the upper part? That is like you have this search bar and these links and all, right? Is there any change with that when I clicked a certain link or some button? Is this part really needs to be updated? It doesn't need to update, right? So it is going to remain the same. Nothing is changing on that navbar when I'm clicking on some link or anything. Only this part of my application is changing. But what happens with Angular is if you create the same application with Angular, it will also load you these contents again. You won't see it because the same thing is already there. Before loading, after loading. Take these two scenarios. Before loading, after loading. What you're seeing the navbar, you're seeing the search bar. Okay, you won't see it, but when you're developing it in Angular, even if this part of my application is changing, it will load the entire application with my search bar, with my navbar, and whatever I have in this content bar. But in React, this thing is whichever is already loaded will be kept in the DOM as it is. Only this part alone will be updated so that your application's performance will be better. Okay, it will be faster. The load time will be faster. So that is why we go for React over Angular. That is one thing. And I also got another question from one of you. What is MVC? So we call MVC as Model View Controller. Okay, what is a model is? Model is the database which we are creating. Okay, so any application is having two parts, you understood. One is front end. Now, whatever data I give in my front end, I want to process it in my back end. Again, from back end, from the database, you have to fetch it and show in the front end, right? Now, let us say you have this registration form. This is my front end. Now, tell me, once you give your name, mobile number, password, and everything, when you give submit, what is happening to this data? What is happening to this data? Stores in the database. Very good. So I am giving this data here. When I say the database, is the database present in our system? Am I storing it in my own system? It's stored in the server. So server is like a supercomputer, which is having much of storage capability. Okay, and it is also its structure. Now it is present somewhere else. It is also basically a system which is connected in the network. Right. Now, when I give this data, that should be carried through someone. I'll tell you who's that someone, the person XY, who's going to take this data and give it to my database. Okay. The person who's going to take this data, that is the person who's going to take my username, mobile number, password, and the second time password, it will be carried through your URL. Okay, like no one else is interacting with the server, right? It's all happening with your this URL, that is amazon.in/ you're having all these data, right? So whatever data I given this front end will be encoded. It will be carried by this URL and submitted to the database. So when I submit it to the database, it can store it. Or similarly, if you want to get any data from the database, whatever database gives, it will be carried by this URL and shown to the front end. So this is very, very important. Okay, URL is very, very important, right? We call it as APIs. Okay, this is what we call it as APIs, application programming interfaces, which will actually talk from your front end to back end. Okay, so this is the thing, okay, which is carrying your data from front end to back end and from back end to front end. And how to create this route is what we'll discuss in your Express. Okay, you understood what is Express, right? Express is actually, it is also built with Node. Okay, basically JavaScript, but it's a Node framework. Okay, so you'll be discussing about some basics about Node.js, and you'll be seeing how are you going to create this URL for your backend. How are you going to take this data and submit it to your backend? And similarly, whatever database is going to give you, how you're going to show it to the front end. So all these things will be taken care by this URL. So for creating your URL, okay, we call it like you have get method, post method, like already you have said, right? So you'll be creating all the user requests. Okay, we'll be creating our APIs in your Express. Okay, in the Express itself, you will also see how to integrate with your MongoDB. Okay, how you're going to integrate with your MongoDB, both will be done in your Express itself. Okay, using an ODM called as Mongoose. Mukesh, you want me to explain Express once again? Yeah, sure. Just a minute. Yeah. So what is Express is, see, like I have a front end, right? This is my front end. I have a sign up form. Okay, let us say you're creating a sign up form. Whatever data I give to the sign up form, you very pretty well understood that it is stored in your database. Okay, it is pretty well stored in your databases, fine, well and good. But whatever data I give to this front end, it should be passed to my server. Okay, so it's like something like this. Okay, let us say you have your front end. Okay, this is your front end. Okay, there is some database which is sitting in the backend. Okay, whatever we can't see, we just call it as backend, guys. Okay, to be very simple, whatever is the process, whatever you can't see on the website will be your backend. Okay, now let us say you have some backend. Okay, in this backend, you have a database deployed. Maybe it can be a cloud server or it can be a DB which is configured to a system, anything. Okay, so let us say this is a DB. Okay, now whatever data I give in the sign up form, that data should be taken. Okay, and it should be given to this database to store it in the database. Do you agree to this point? Now, when I say it's going to take the data and store it to the database, okay, you are writing here. Okay, you're giving all your data here. That's well and good. But who is going to take that data and store it to the databases? Through your routes. Okay, we call it as routes technically, or it's going to be APIs. Okay, like this route only is going to take your data, what you have entered in this text box or inputs. It will carry that. Okay, it will carry that through HTTP protocol. So whatever URL you're using, it's HTTP. Okay, for your websites, it's interacting with the HTTP or HTTPS protocol. Right, so that protocol is going to carry all your data from this URL. Okay, and submit it to your database and store it in your database. Okay, and similarly, let us say a front end is requesting for some other data from the database. Okay, there is some data which is sitting in this database. You have to fetch that data and show it in your front end. Again, there is data. Database has data. No questions with that. But someone has to carry that data to the front end back again. So that data will be carried through this URL. Okay, you won't see the data. It will be encoded. It all will be mostly encoded. Right? So everything will be carried through this URL and it will be given to the front end. So what we call as API is application programming interfaces. Mainly, it will just talk to your backend, okay, for storing your data or for fetching your data. This is what it will do. Okay, it's just like technical word we use, but what it does is it's going to take some data to the database, and as well as it is going to fetch some data from the database. Okay, it is going to help for that. Okay, so we have to create those routes. Okay, I have to say when this is going to when I'm clicking this verify email, okay, it will be giving that data through this URL. Okay, you have to create an API for that. We have to write a program. Okay, we call it as API. That's it. Okay, it's like a backend thing. Okay, whatever URL you are creating, okay, and whatever I give to the database, that should be created by us using Express. Right? Okay, I'm getting some doubts. What's the difference between RESTful and REST API? I'll come to that point today. Okay, let us not confuse much with backend now, because without the demo, if I tell you something, you might get confused. But just conceptually understand this, save this question. For sure, when I go for creating the APIs, I'll answer you that. Okay, with relevant example, I think I can make the answer better. Okay. Yeah. So that example, if I just tell like stories, like it will go more like theory. Okay, let us just like conceptually understand now. When we go for examples, we can have the technical doubts at that time. Okay, this is just like the working, how it is going on. Okay, so that's it, guys. Okay, so you are creating a front end. Okay, that is created using a HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. Okay, whatever data you give in this front end and whatever you want to show to this front end, the data will be carried by your routes. Okay, you will be creating APIs for creating these routes. That route will carry data to your database and store it. Okay, and similarly from database, if you want to show to front end, also the same process. Now, very important thing, very important thing you have to note down is, what is this MVC? I was actually talking about this MVC, right? So have you heard about two-tiered architecture and three-tiered architecture? This will be the last concept I'll discuss, guys, okay? Because this is very important and this is why you should learn some framework like MERN, okay? Some full stack like MERN. So first understand what is the difference between this MVC and what is this JavaScript library all about? So let us first understand that. So any idea of what is MVC, guys? So MVC, It's a model view controller. Okay, three things. Exactly. Shubham, exactly. Client server architecture. In client server architectures, you have two types of architecture. Okay, one is a two-tiered architecture. Okay, and the other one is a three-tiered architecture. Okay, what is a three-tiered architecture is? MVC is a three-tiered architecture. Okay, what is a model is? Model is the place where you store your data. It's like your database. Okay, this is like your database. And what does this V stands for is V is like the view component. Okay, like what you're going to view. So this is like your front end. Okay, like whatever UI components you're creating, that will be your view. And controller will be the person who is taking your data and submitting to your DB. Okay, this is like the roots or the API which you're going to create. So all the three things are separate. So if you want to combine your front end with the back end, that is, if you want to integrate your front end with the back end, you have to write a separate driver code called as a controller, and it is difficult to maintain. But when you go for MERN, it's a two-tiered architecture. What happens is you will have the front end, okay, that is built using HTML, CSS, React. Okay, and what happens with backend is you don't need to have any separate driver code. Okay, that is one thing. Your view, okay, that is not view, sorry, your model and your controller, okay, will be integrated together by your Express. Okay, so you don't need to write any driver code separately for combining your front end with your back end. Okay, for creating your routes. Okay, your model and your controller together only will be developed by your Express. Okay, and one more thing, we'll be using MongoDB, which is a NoSQL database. We don't need to write any queries like complex SQL queries and all. You can write everything using a function. Like you'll be writing a function and you'll be calling it, right? So you'll be creating databases, you'll be inserting data, you'll be fetching or do any CRUD operation like create, read, update using functions only. You're not going to write any queries. All the things will be supported by your Express. Okay, which is with MongoDB, how you will be integrating is there is something called as a Mongoose. Okay, there is something called as a Mongoose. This Mongoose is a ODM. I'll tell you what is a ODM. Okay, this is responsible for making the integration very simple. So it's just a two-tier architecture. We don't need to write complex codes for managing your integration, writing your driver code. So everything is minified. Okay, it is made simpler in Express using Mongoose ODM. Okay, so that is also why we can suggest like those who are starting your career fresh as a full stack developer, you can go with MERN initially. Right? Always like experience can also learn it. Okay. But it has some like development advantages also. You can develop it easily. So MERN is a two-tiered architecture basically. Okay, it's not an MVC architecture, traditionally MVC architecture. Okay, so I think this is clear, like somewhat you got an idea of what is a full stack, right? What are these technologies all about? Yeah. So, all right, guys. So let us start with each module. Okay, so those who are entirely new, we'll start with HTML today because we have a mix of both the participants. I know most of you know it, but just take this session as a refresher session. Whatever you know already, you can just work with this as a refresher. Later, when we go for JavaScript and React, I'll tell you what are the like advanced concepts you are going to learn. Okay, HTML, CSS, you have to learn it. Okay, so even though you know it already, please consider this as a refresher session because few of your friends also, they are new to it. So we have to start it from there. Okay, I cannot skip HTML and CSS as of now. So 1 or 2 hours, we'll take HTML, CSS. Later, we'll move on to advanced JavaScript and creating your React application. Is that all fine? Yes, guys. So let me just clear all these things from my screen. Is my screen visible to you all?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys. So first thing is we need a code editor to write your program. Okay, so we need to write a program somewhere, right? So you can use any code editor of your choice. So you can use Sublime Text or you can use Notepad, Notepad++, anything, but I am going to use a Visual Studio Code. So you can find this Visual Studio Code downloads. I'll just give you the link. So this is where from you have to download it, right? So you can go to code.visualstudio.com and download the application for whatever operating systems you are going to use. Okay, so because this is the place where we are going to type code, you can also use Notepad, but the syntax and all, like if you want to debug, it will be easy to see in this Visual Studio Code because the color convention, everything will be different. You can easily identify. Okay, so just install this Visual Studio Code. Okay, and create a project folder for yours. Okay, so I'm just going to create a project folder, right? So let me create it here. I'll delete this one. You can create a new folder. Okay, like I'll call it as MERN Bootcamp. Okay, just create an empty folder. Now open your Visual Studio Code. Pull that folder to your Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is how like your Visual Studio Code will look like. Okay, it's basically the place where you type software. Okay, nothing much. Okay, nothing much it's going to do. This is a place I'm going to write my code. Just like how you type your Word document or Notepad, this is a place where we type our code. Okay, so just go to File. Okay, give Open Folder. Go to your desktop, and this is the folder we have created for the project, right? So just give Select Folder. Now this folder is empty because we haven't created any file yet, right? So let us create a first HTML file. So for all the files, like whatever you create, maybe it is a Word document or it is any other files, every file will have its own extension, right? So something like .doc or .docx, you'll be having .css, like you have some extension. From that, the program will understand that, okay, this is this type of file. I can only view it with an Excel software. This is the document format document. I can view it only within a Microsoft Office Word. So the same way, you're going to create a file with an extension .html so that the browser can understand, okay, the user has created a web page. Okay, so create any name. So I'll just create it as index.html. Okay, this is the extension. Just give an enter. Now, what is HTML is? HTML is hypertext markup language. Okay, so what is this marking up is? Already I told you, whatever content you want to just create on your browser, okay, whatever web page I want to create, you're just going to create the content, right? So for creating this content, people have like people from W3, okay, that is www you have, right? World Wide Web. So it's a consortium, okay, it's like a body which is going to, which has defined some rules and structures for creating your web application. Okay, so we are going to use the tags which is already defined by our W3. Okay, and we are going to create our very first web page. And everything you're going to create with this HTML document is going to be created using a tag. Okay, so what basically tag means is, tag is going to just create your content, whatever you want on the web page. Now tell me whether it can create the style. Can we align it or can we add some styling to this, what we created with HTML? We can't. Okay, if you will understand that with an example. Okay, so just see, I'll just give you one shortcut. Okay, just type in exclamation. Okay, and give a tab. Okay, it will give you a boilerplate for creating your HTML file. Okay, now you can see that all the things is written inside a angular braces, right? So everything you have, it's written with open angular braces, close angular braces. Okay, so I'll tell you what is the structure, like what are the tags. Okay, you don't need to worry. Initially, you don't need to create all these things also. You can create it by your own. Okay, just write angular braces. Okay, within this, write your HTML tag. Because for all the HTML tag, sorry, all the HTML file, you have to write all your contents within this HTML tag only. So opening HTML tag and closing HTML tag. Okay, this is the structure. You have to follow this structure. Anything you want to create, you will be creating with tags only. Okay, now there are different tags for creating different content. That is what we are going to see. I'm just telling you the structure, how you have to create the HTML document. Now, as like a human body, HTML also has two parts. Okay, one is the head and one is the body. Okay, within the HTML tag, you can see whatever I'm going to write now, I'm going to write it within the HTML tag. So first thing is your head. Okay, and after that, I'm also going to create a body. Right? So this is the structure. HTML should contain two parts. One is a head and a body. Okay. Now, whatever content I want to create, I cannot create it on the head. I'll tell you why. Okay. For now, what I'm doing is inside my head tag. Okay. I'm going to create a title tag. Okay. I'm creating a title tag. Let us say my first web page. Okay. Just save this program. I didn't create any content. I'll tell you what happens. Just save this one. You can view this like now. This is a web page, right? We have created our web page. It's not a website, it's a web page. Okay, website is you have to create many web pages and link it all together. Okay, this is a single web page. Now, what is the software you need to run is nothing. If you have your browser, that's more than enough. You can use any browser. So open that file in some browser. Can you see any output down here? Like in this content place, are you seeing any content? We didn't create any content. Okay, I told you, right? We didn't create anything in the body. So if you want to display anything in this place, you have to create it inside your body tag. Okay, but you can see the title is displayed on the tab here. So this is creating a title here with whatever you created within the title tab. So head is like the pre-processing thing. We'll see what a head tag will do. I'll tell you when you go for CSS JavaScript. At that time, you'll be using head most of the time. It's all about pre-processing. Okay, it's all about including your styles, adding your JavaScript. It will be taken care by head. But what body will do is body is going to tell what contents you want to create. Okay, so if I didn't give this title, see, I'm just saving this as it is. Just refresh. It will just give you the file name because we didn't create any title. Okay, so if it's your wish. Okay, if you want to create the title, just create it within your head tag. Okay, now whatever content I want to create, I told I'm going to create it within the body, right? So within the body tag, there are different types of content. Okay, already in the beginning itself, you told me that what are the different types of contents you see? You see a text box. First we'll go to the simpler one. Okay, text, that is like headings, paragraphs. Content wise, you have some textual content. What else you had? You had some buttons, you had some images, you had videos, you have audios, you have forms. All these things are the content which you are creating on the HTML. Okay, so let us start with the textual tags, okay, which is used for creating your contents. So the first thing we are going to discuss is about your headings. Okay, so let us start creating a heading, right? So we are going to create the headings. There are different variants of headings starting from H1 to H6. Okay. So all these things are tag name. Okay, it is already defined by W3. You cannot change that meaning. Like if you say, ma'am, I want to give a different name here, I want to give a different name here, you cannot do that. Okay, it's already defined by the W3 people. So you have to follow the structure and you can create it. Okay, now what is the first content we are going to create? We are going to create a heading. Okay, so let me put a H1 tag. See, I'm writing everything inside the angular braces, and also make sure you have to close that tag. Okay, we call it as opening tag and a close tag. So here you can see that I have written body 2 times, but what is the difference? I have written body 2 times within the angular braces, but what is the other difference you have?
Opening tag, closing tag.
Yes, so one tag is having that /, the other thing is not having the /, right? So we call the tag which is not having that opening, that slash, this is your opening tag, and this is a closing tag, just like your curly braces. Within this only you have to write. So the same way, whenever I'm creating a tag, okay, I'm going to create a H1 tag. Within this, I'm going to create the content. Okay, between this, I have to write the content, just like how I have written with title. Okay, so let me say that I'm going to write Merns tag. Okay, you have to write it within this. Don't put it outside here and all. Okay, write it between your tags. Okay, so the content will be displayed to your browser. Now save this. Go back and refresh your screen. Now can you see what is displayed to the output? You're getting the heading whatever we created, right? So like you can ask me, ma'am, it is in bold, like it is of better font size. How it is created? It has its own style which is defined by W3. Okay, by default itself, for putting it on the screen, they would have created it. Okay, just go to, I have just inspected this, guys. Okay, it's a developer option. Just right click on your screen, go to inspect and click on this arrow symbol. Okay, and click on this item. So by default, it will be having some style. Okay, they have already defined it. You don't need to write any code. This is what we call it as CSS. Okay, you can see that font size, something is there, and there are some properties, bold and all, right? So it is already defined by the default consortium. And also this value will differ based on your browser. Okay, if I'm viewing it on a Chrome browser, just a minute, guys. Yeah, if I'm viewing it on a Chrome browser or if I'm viewing it on a Mozilla Firefox, that a difference will be there in the output. Maybe if I say this is 16 px of font size, in Mozilla Firefox, it will be different. So it is again, the output will be different based on your browser which you're viewing. Okay. Is it clear, guys? Any doubts with this? So similarly, you can create different variants of your headings. Okay, I told you, right? It starts from H1. I can do it up to H6. Okay, so I'm just going to give H2. Okay, the same thing, but see what is the difference. Now I'll just give HTML. Okay, I'll do the same for H3. I'll give CSS. H4. I'll give JS. H5. React. And H6, I can give Node. Right, just save this one. Go back and refresh. So still you're getting some output to the screen, like whatever you have written within the tab, right? So you're getting all the contents on the screen, but what is the difference? The difference is there in the font size. Okay, so all the things is already defined. So if you want to use a heading of this particular font size, you can use H2. Okay, so they are giving that, like what do you say? They are giving you that independence for using whatever font size you want. Okay, so just create it like this. Okay, with your headings. Okay, is it clear how to create your headings in your HTML? Yeah. And the next thing is a very simplest thing, that is your paragraphs. Okay, so always headings is going to have only one line. It can span one line. So if you want to create a content which wants to sit after your heading, you can create it with a paragraph. So just type a p tag. Okay, it's a p tag. Okay, you can type the paragraph here. Okay, I don't have any paragraphs currently, so I'll just use this shortcut, the Emmet abbreviation. So just type lorem and give a tab. It will give you some default text. Okay, so I'm just giving this. Let me copy this. Copy this, save it, go back and refresh. Now you can see that a paragraph is created for the content. And what is the difference? What is the difference between your heading and the paragraph? You can see that the heading is of different font. It's bold, but the paragraph is with a normal text and with a smaller font size. Okay, so this is already defined by the W3 again. Okay, right. Guys, there is an information for you all from the team. So you'll be having an interview preparation skills training from 4:10. Okay, this session we would wind up before 4 o'clock. Okay, and 4 to 4:10 will be your break. And you stay in this link itself. The trainer will be joining on the same link. You don't need to discuss again and come back. I mean, you don't need to disconnect and come to a different link. It is on the same link. Okay. So yeah, just save this one, right? We have created the paragraph, right? So it's a different thing what you have in the heading and the content tab. Okay, I hope it's clear. Paragraphs are clear, right? Yes, Shubham, it's going to be a 1 week training for 10 hours. 10 hours in total. For technical, 10 hours, right? So similarly, you'll also be having soft skill training separately. Okay, for the boot camp, it's for the 10 hours. Right? All right, so this is with your headings and paragraphs, guys. Okay, so let us move on to the next content tab. Right, so we will discuss about list now. Okay, so I have created a list in your Word document, right? So we created a bulletin and with 1, 2, 3, right? So we are going to create Vikash, any fee charge provide placement opportunities, because the team will let you know that. Okay, so I'm taking it with the training. So if you have any queries with that, you can ask the admin, so they'll interact with you. This React.js and Node.js will be covered in this training. Yes, Mukesh, like we will be starting with the basic technologies like HTML, CSS initially. We'll also discuss some ES6 conventions with JavaScript. Also, we'll also be discussing with React. I'll show you how to create your routes also. Okay, each day we'll be discussing about one topic. Okay, so today it's about HTML. So tomorrow we'll be discussing HTML and CSS together. Okay, some basic things. And we'll move to JavaScript, and from there we'll work with React. Right? Yeah. Yes, guys. So can I create website by own after this bootcamp is completed? Yes, Himani, you can. Okay, we will tell you like what is a roadmap. Okay, what are the things you need to work with. Okay, so at the end of this bootcamp, you would be creating a personal portfolio website. Okay, using your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and also you can use React. Okay, but the backend thing also you can integrate with some of your backend. But yes, you can create your website after this bootcamp. Right. So I'm just going to give you the the ideas, like what are the technologies you're learning and what is the roadmap to your MERN. Okay, with that you can create some simple website as well. Right. Yes. So this is with your paragraphs, guys. Okay, so the last thing I'll just tell you about a list. Okay, so what is a list is you want some bulletins or you want to have a numbered list. You can create a list. Okay, so there are two types of lists in your HTML. One is an ordered list, one is an unordered list. So, you know, like when you create it with the word itself, we have bulletins and numbers. So bulletins are for the unordered list and numbers are for the ordered list. Okay, so just give an old tag, just enter. Okay, let me say I'm typing some content here. I'm giving list item 1, 2, save this, go back and refresh. Can you see anything like a list? Like is it having any bulletin or something? It's not. So for creating the items for the bulletin, you have to nest it. You have to write another tag within this old tag, that is li. Okay, li for list item. So give your list item here. So I can give list item 1. Again, put an li tag. We're going to create a list item 2 and so on. Okay, so just save this and go back. You can see it's in order, right? So 1 and 2 you're having. So this is an ordered list. Okay. So what is an unordered list? You should get a bulletin without any numbers. So the same thing, but the tag is ul for unordered list, and create your list item here. Okay. Just save this. The same thing. Okay. Just use li for both ol and ul. Okay. Only difference is you will get numbers in your ordered list. Okay. In an unordered list, you'll be getting bulletins. I'll also tell you how to change this. Like you can change it to Roman numbers. You can change this to some other symbol. like a disk or square. I'll tell you that in the next session when we discuss about attributes. Okay, so this is all about a very simple web page where you're having some headings, your content, and having your list items. So any doubts with this, guys? I'll take your doubts now. I'm just stopping it here. So if you have any doubts, you can let me know. Do you have any doubts, guys?
Hello.
Yes.
Can you repeat ordered and unordered once again?
Yes, Lakshay, sure. So yeah. So what is ordered list is? Ordered list is going to create your list items, okay, with numbers. Okay, like you want to, like in the Word document also, you'll be creating either with bulletins or with numbers, right? So you want to have an order, you can go for ordered list. If you don't want any order, you want to have some bulletin or some square, you want some symbols, you can go for an unordered list. So for creating an ordered list, just create the old tag. Within that old tag, you have to create the list item. Suppose if I'm just giving list item, like generally this is how we write the content for all the tags, right? So you'll create it within the paragraph tag. So if you create it the same way and save it, you won't get anything with numbers or bulletins. Okay, it will just create like a text thing. Okay, but if you want to create that order or a bulletin, you have to create it within the li tag. Okay, so just create, I'm just copying this thing and put it down here. So old tag, the list item, you'll be getting 1, 2. The same li tag, if you write it within ul tag, you will get your bulletin symbol because it's unordered. Is it clear, Lakshay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, will you send me the recording video of this one?
I think Sagar, can you please inform regarding this?
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Samir, I think your voice is breaking a bit.
Now am I audible?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Yeah. Ma'am, see, we do have Sakshi ma'am over here. She'll be, handling session on interview skills path and career development. So this we're gonna start exactly at 4:10. So please ask students to be available.
Yes, Samir. Like students are asking about the recording. So can you please give some inputs on the same, Samir?
Yes, we are under discussion. For sure, we'll give them the recordings once our discussions are completed.
Yes, Samir. So I hope you got it, guys. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, please do not end the meeting, guys. Wait, 4:10 we have, career development session handled by Sakshi. Yeah.
Guys, just to inform whatever Zamir has already informed, you have your session back by 4:10. So please stay on the same meeting link. Please don't end the session. You can mute yourself, go for a break and come back and resume back to the session by 4:10. Right? Guys, I'll tell you what is a roadmap. So we are going to touch all the topics. So I'll try to give as much as inputs which I can give in this 10 hours. Okay, so water is very important. And because we have to touch all the technologies, right? So probably I'll try to cover most of the things which is required with respect to React application. Okay, so I'll tell you what are the tasks I can discuss you, and the other things we'll discuss in the next session. Okay. So I'm just signing off here and I leave the session for the other instructor. So have a nice day, guys. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time. I hope the session was useful. Bye, all of you. Thank you all. Bye-bye.